All right, it's 2:01. Let's begin. Welcome to our Snap Plus product unveiling webinar today. David, click us through to the next slide, please.
Got it.
All right, so you got me, Matthew, Chief Marketing Officer, and joining us, David, Regional Sales Manager. Hey, David.
How are you, Matt?
Welcome. David has graciously volunteered his time to walk us all through this today. So next slide. All right, as you would expect, for every webinar, we are going to record it. We'll share it out with you afterwards. If you have questions, please type them in the Q&A as you go. We'll take them as we see them, and we'll definitely take them all at the end. And so what are we covering today? Pretty straightforward. We're going to walk you through this introduction. We're done with that. Next one, we'll give you a brief recap on the existing key benefits and features of Snap and why it's become so successful over the last 7 years, and then really spend some time looking at what's new about it with Snap Plus. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Lowitz. David, take it away.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Appreciate it. And thank you all for joining in today or watching later on the recording. But either way, we're going to talk primarily today, as Matthew said, about Snap Plus. We're not really going to talk about the buying platform or superlatives today, but of course, if you ever have any questions about either of those other two products, let us know. We'll be happy to fill you in on those. Most of you today that are with us on this webinar are somewhat familiar with Snap, but for those of you that are not, we're going to walk you through Snap quickly. And then, as Matthew said, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about Snap Plus here. So Snap, let's go back 7, 8, 9 years, because we're a company that's about 7 or 8 years old. And when our founders were putting this company together, they were wondering, is there even a need for this? So they were looking around and they noticed that a lot of dealers are using market data inside their stores to appraise trades, but then they're putting book values on their website. But as most of you know, market data and book values aren't the same numbers. Here's the same car taken from the same website on the same day within literally a few minutes of each other. And as you can see here, the book value was very, very different from the market value. And what you're doing is you're basically creating a communication divide, because Mrs. Jones will go to your website and she'll put in her 2018 Camry and the book says it's worth X. So she prints out that piece of paper and she comes running into your dealership. Hey, your website says my car's worth this much money. And you're like, ma'am, slow down. That's not how we appraise trades, and that's not what your car's worth. And that is that communication divide. So that's when our founders figured out, well, what if there was a way to take market data and put market data on the website, but let the dealers control it? Not a bad idea. So they went ahead and they started doing a little survey, and they asked customers, or they asked their dealers, hey, are you guys getting a lot of trade leads? And the dealers all looked at them like they were crazy, because no one was getting a lot of trade leads 8, 9 years ago, because this is what most customers were asked to fill out. And I don't know about you, Matthew, but anyone out there going to fill out 7 pages of information to get your trade value? Probably not. Right, Matthew, would you do that?
It would be something extremely special for me to want to do that.
Exactly. So that's when they figured out, instead of asking the dealers, let's ask consumers. Hey, when you go to a dealer's website, what's important to you? What are you trying to learn? What do you want to find out? And what they found every single year since they did this survey way back in 2013 for the first time, the number 2 answer every single year has been, I want to get the value of my trade. So that's when that little light bulb went off with our founders. And they're like, hey, we got a business here, because if we can find a way to give market data quickly and easily to the consumers and they can get that trade value, we're good. And here we are now 8 years later, or almost 8 years later, with 3,200 dealer partners around the country using our trade tool. Something must be going right here. So let's talk a little bit more about Snap and what it's doing, because there's a lot of trade tools out there. And why would you want to use Snap by TradePending? Well, to me, there's 3 big reasons. First of all, the numbers that we use are not based like this book, right? From 1974, by the way. They're not based on regional or national numbers. Our numbers that we generate are based on your dealership zip code. We're going to start at your zip code and we're going to work out from there. And we're always keeping it as tight as we can around your dealership. Also, unlike this book here that comes out monthly, we don't update our numbers weekly or monthly or semi-annually. We update our numbers every single night. So every 24 hours as the market is changing, we're changing right along with it. So there's no such thing as lag time. We're right there with the market every single day. Number 2, you guys, the dealers, get to control the trade values that get pushed out to your prospects. But I don't want you to think that we're going to give you a blank piece of paper and a pencil every time a lead comes in and you've got to go and figure out that trade value. We're going to get everything set up for you properly in our back-end settings. And then we're going to be able to use real live market data, and you're going to be able to determine whether you want the range that we push out, 12 grand to 14 grand. Do you want it to be here? Do you want it to be 11 to 15? Do you want it to be there or there? Bottom line is that you're going to get to control how narrow or how wide and how conservative or how aggressive the trade range is that we present to your prospects. And again, no other trade tool in the market does that and puts that much power and that much control in your hands. All right. And then finally, on a mobile device, I'm not a big fan of using words like biggest and best and fastest and strongest, because what does every vendor do? Every vendor runs around and says, oh, we're the biggest, we're the best, we're going to help you do all that. In this case, though, I will say that we are the best and we are the fastest, because on a mobile device, when your prospects are out there on your website and they want to get the value of their trade, they are literally 4 thumb taps away. Year, make, model, trim, put in their name, email address, and phone number, and they're done. They are in your CRM, and they've got the value for their trade that they were looking for. So those 3 things right there are very, very helpful, and they're all part of what makes Snap so important and so helpful. But now we've gone a step further. Why? Because we've listened to you. We're out there talking to dealers every single day, and our focus is on how can we make our product better? And we're asking the dealers, what else could we do for you to make this a better product for you? So now, instead of coming out there and selling Snap, we're going to be presenting to you Snap Plus. And there's 3 new enhancements that have come on board with Snap Plus that I think you're really going to like. Let's roll them out first, and then we'll go into detail on each one. First of all, you're going to get to know the VDP view history. What have people been looking at on your website? What kind of cars, what kind of trucks, what kind of SUVs, how many of them, when were they looking at them? You're going to know all of that. You're also going to get to know no more bad phone numbers and email addresses. And this goes across the board with any lead gen tool. You're always going to have your share of people putting in Santa Claus, Mickey Mouse, no way, putting in 555-1212 as their phone number. But now we're going to kind of stop that, and we'll show you how coming up here in just a minute. And then finally, this last one here, sharing made easy. We now have a way for people to share this market report. When they get their trade value, they're going to be able to share that with others. So let's dive in here and take a look and see exactly what we're talking about specifically here. If I went to a dealer's website, and here is a fake website that we've got set up here, but it works all the same. And I put in my 2018 Camry, and I'll choose the LE. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in my name, my email address, and phone number. Remember, we're a 2-step process. So that was step 1, year, make, model, trim. Step 2, name, email, phone. And now I'm going to get my market report, right? Here it comes. I'm going to get my market report. But wait, before I get my market report, and we're actually talking really more about the second enhancement. We'll come back to the first one here in just a second. Before I get to see my market report, I have to verify either my phone number or my email address. And Matthew, you can verify this. Are we also going to do an and option where people can verify both? I think so. I think that's what we talked about.
Might be working on that.
Okay, cool. So either way, you're guaranteed of getting either a phone number or an email address that is absolutely positively verified and guaranteed. What does that mean for you? Less wasted time, less tracking down those 555-1212 numbers or Fred Flintstone at testing.com. Okay, you're going to have real information to be able to, so that your BDC or your salespeople can know that when they call that lead, they're calling a real phone number or a real email address. The other thing that we've done now is we're tracking, like I said, what VDPs they were looking at. So now when you're looking in your back end here, or when you click on the link to your market report in your CRM, now you're going to see something that looks like this. And let's back into this. Before, you used to get everything from here down. You used to see the market report and the graph and everything, and then the retail minus your deductions, and that's what brings you down to this, to the final value to the dealer. But now we're going to start to show you, in order from oldest to most recent, which VDPs your prospect has been looking at. Now, please don't call up the prospect and say, hi, I see you were looking at this 2018 Mazda 3 in red. Don't do that, okay? They don't know that we're watching them. You know that we're watching them, but what this is going to be able to do is set up better conversations for you, because not only are you going to know what they were looking at, but you're going to know when they were looking at it. So again, I went in here yesterday, I looked at 4 different vehicles. I came back today, I looked at 2 more, and we will keep updating this for as long as that lead is in your system. All right, so if you go back and check on this lead 30 days from now, and he's been coming back to your website every, once a week, or you'll know exactly what's been going on, and you'll see when the activity starts to tail off. Super feature. We've had people asking about this forever. But what I love about this even more is that we're not prompting them. We're not saying, what is your vehicle of interest? Because most people either skip that or they just don't tell the truth. Now we're just kind of tracking where they've been. So now the first 2 things, just to kind of reiterate and summarize: 1, VDP tracking. You've seen that right here. 2, the verification of the phone number or the email. And now 3, the other thing that we're doing is we're letting people share this with others. So we've always had this nice little print button down here, But what if here I am, I'm married, right? Happy wife, happy life. So before I go and trade in my car, I better check with my wife and make sure that she's happy with these numbers as well. So now I can simply click right here and either email or text, and I can send this report directly to her. Okay. Now, one of the other nice things about that, the first thing that we're doing, or the second thing that we're doing with the verification of the email and the phone, is we're sending a copy of this report directly to that consumer's cell phone or to their email address. So now when they X out of here and they close out the report, they still have a copy of that they can hold on to and then refer back to later on. 3 phenomenal features, all there to really help you and give you more of what you've been looking for in a trade tool and help you have better conversations with your prospects. Matthew, anything that I did not talk about today or that I should have mentioned today?
No, you got the highlights there.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
And I'll reply back. You want to, so Ashley chimed in with a question. Do we have the option to turn off the authentication of phone or email? So yes, you have full control over that. You can choose whether you have it on or off entirely, or whether you ask for phone or ask for email or ask for both.
Correct. And also, Matthew, if I'm not mistaken, the dealer has the choice of getting only the leads that are verified or all leads, whether they've been verified or not.
I think we might still be working on that. So we'll follow up with that afterwards.
Okay, my bad. I thought we were all okay, cool. And I believe that we covered everything here today. Yes, as far as Snap Plus.
And a follow-up to Ashley's question, will this upgrade be done automatically or do we have to opt in? You do have to opt in. Yes.
Yeah. And Matthew, do you want to expound on that, or do you want to just leave it with you have to opt in?
Well, yeah, it's so Snap Plus is an additional cost. So, and David can certainly address that if we need to. But yeah, we can follow up with you afterwards, Ashley.
Any other questions out there right now?
All right, take it away, David.
Oh, I thought I was.
So are you all done?
Yeah, I mean, we looked at Snap. We looked at Snap Plus. I mean, if there's something else that you would like me to go into, I'm more than happy to.
No, you're good. All right, so we've got.
Oh, I guess you know what? Let's do this. Let's pop over to some real websites. Let's take a look at them. And these don't have Snap Plus on them yet, but I think it'll give you a real good look as far as how some dealers are putting this into play and setting up their website properly to get the most success. And this is also, even though it's not really Snap Plus, it's something that people should be aware of. One of the things that you want to do, and let me back up half a step here. When we put our Snap tool on your website, we're generally going to put it in 4 major places. We're going to put it on your homepage. We're going to put it on every single SRP. We're going to put it on every single VDP. And we're also going to set up a landing page for you. That way, if you start doing some marketing, whether it's email campaigns or Facebook campaigns, you can drop people right back onto that landing page. But one of the things that we're also going to suggest to you is that you add a button to your CTA stack, your call to action stack. Please don't have 72 buttons over here. 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 total is really what you want to shoot for. But now we've made it so simple for consumers that when they come over here and they click on this 10-second trade value, again, all they have to do is come over here and go through 2 steps, year, make, model, trim, and then name, email, phone. And I'm going to do a different card this time. I'm specifically going to do a truck because I want you to see something here. Notice, again, step 1, done, year, make, model, trim. Step 2, name, email, phone. And now, once they click this orange button, that's what we call the capture point. We've got that customer's information now. And if nothing else, you're going to get a lead that says that David Lowitz or John Smith has a 2017 Silverado 1500 LT. So again, even if they bail out, you still get that lead. But we've got some additional questions for them. But we ask these additional questions post-conversion. So basically what we've done, imagine you're running the 100-yard hurdles, right? We've taken all the hurdles and we've put them after the finish line. So again, why do we do that? To make sure that we're capturing more leads for you, better leads for you, good leads for you. So now I can go ahead and I can say, oh, I've got the crew cab and it's a 4x4 and it's the V8. And now that all that information gets pushed right along to your CRM, right in there with that same record. And now I'm going to go ahead and Zoom is kind of slowing things down here half a second, but there we go. And now I've got my market report that I wanted to see. Now, if this dealer had Snap Plus, I would have seen another screen here that would have said, hey, your market report is all ready, but just go ahead and verify your email address or your phone number. Notice we don't even ask for mileage pre-conversion. We wait until post-conversion. We wait until we've captured the lead And then we go ahead and we prompt them, hey, wait a minute, it says you've got 62,000 miles. No, I only have 42,000 miles on my truck. And of course, as soon as I do that, the value is going to change. And Matthew, I'll take a break here for a second. I see some more stuff is coming in chat, but I can't read it.
Yeah, so we had some questions here popping in. So in terms of turning on the email and text verification, how does that affect conversion rates?
That's a great question. It all happens post-conversion. So we're capturing the lead for you after step 2. Remember, it's step 1, year, make, model, trim. Step 2, name, email, phone. They click that orange button, they're captured. We've got them now. So whether that information was real or not, and I want to tell you, I mean, I've looked at over 300 some odd dealerships over the past 2 years. I see very few Fred Flintstones and Rockies and stuff like that coming in. Yes, every lead source is going to have their share of fake leads, but you can pretty much ferret them out. When you're looking at a phone number and it says 212-555-1212, common sense is going to tell you that's a fake phone number, all right? But the percentage of those that actually come through are very, very small to begin with. But just to help you eliminate those altogether, yes, now after we convert the lead, then we're going to go ahead and ask for them to confirm their email or their phone.
Got it. So I'll answer this one. So does the lead, so say somebody puts in bogus information and then they get to the verification process and then they update it with better information. Does the lead update like mileage when the consumer changes things afterwards? And the answer is yes. So if they're going through that process and they put in a bad phone number first, but then when they decide, okay, I better put in my real phone number to get the report, we will update that prior to sending that off to your CRM.
Excellent. Do I see some more questions up there?
And there we go. So I'll just ask it straight away. Does Snap Plus change the way we run campaigns?
Does Snap Plus change the way you run campaigns? Meaning you as the dealer running marketing campaigns?
That's how I'm reading it.
Yeah, I would say absolutely not. You still want to go ahead and do whatever it is you're going to be doing, whether that's Facebook advertising, whether that's an email campaign, and you want to drive people back. Let me move this Zoom thing out of the way because of course it's always in the way. You want to drive people back to your landing page. And by the way, I would strongly suggest in your main menu under new, used, financing, and specials, I don't want to see value your trade. I don't want to see trade appraisal. I want to see 10-second trade value. Why? Because consumers see 10 seconds and that's a phenomenal value proposition to them. If they know they can come in here in just 10 seconds, get their trade value, they're going to be more likely to do that. So go ahead and click on that landing page. Let's drive people back to this landing page here. And Snap Plus should in no way, shape, or form affect how you're running these campaigns. All right. And I think I may have missed when I clicked on their landing page here. Let's try one more time. There we go. Now we're on the landing page as soon as it loads up here. There we go. And note, by the way, this is the Larry H. Miller store. They've done a really nice job of decorating their landing page the way they want. You do not have to take our landing pages the way they come out of the box. If you want to do some decorating to them, if you want to dress them up, if you want to put some additional text, if you want to split the page and do this tool over here on the left side and some text and pictures over on the right side, it's all great. And we're here, all of us here at TradePending, we want to advise you on that and help you with that as much as we possibly can. So if you've got questions, we've got answers and we'll be happy to get you set up with that. But no, it's not going to change how you're doing your marketing.
Got it. Another question. So can you change the values that come back from Snap based upon vehicle class when somebody's valuing their trade in?
Excellent question. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we do that and we do it better than any other dealership or any other trade tool that's out there. So when we're getting a dealership set up, and let me make my screen a little bit bigger here. When we're getting a dealership set up, we know the kind of car that someone's trying to trade in, whether they're trading in a foreign car, a domestic car, Highline European, Highline Asian. Are they trading in a pickup truck? Are they trading in a Ford at a Ford dealership? In which case, maybe the Ford dealer wants us to deduct a CPO fee. We can go ahead and we do that. And again, like I told you at the very beginning, when I said you get to control the trade values, we're going to do all of that right back here in our back end. So from the time you sign up with me till the time that we actually go live on your website, it's generally about 24 to 48 hours. During that time, I'm going to work with you, Mr. General Manager, or you, Mr. BDC person, or the used car manager, and I'm going to go over these numbers with you, and we're going to make sure that everything is set up exactly the way you want it. So I'll ask you, hey, if someone's trading in a Toyota, a Honda, a Kia, a Hyundai, a Mazda, do you want them to see 895 as the recon number? Maybe you tell me you want that number to be 1200, 1300, 1500, whatever number you want is the number we're going to put in here. And we're going to do that for your BMWs and your Audis, and we're going to do it for your Lexuses and Infinities, and we're going to do it up here for your Dodge Rams and your F-150s and your Silverados under this domestic truck recon. We're going to set all of that up the way you want it. So let's just pretend here for a second, because my favorite two numbers on this page are actually right down here, the range. Let's say we've got a Camry that's worth 13 grand retail. And now we're going to go minus all these different deductions, and we're down to $10,000. We don't want to push a single number of $10,000 out to your prospect, because that boxes you in. We want to open things up and give that prospect a range. So our default is going to be a -8% and a +2% from whatever that starting number is. So that's why I chose 10,000, because that's an easy one to do the math with. We're going to go down 8 points to 9,200, and we're going to go up 2 percentage points to 10.2, and you're going to show that car to that consumer as 9,200 to 10.2. But you might come back to me and say, hey, David, I've got a CarMax right across the street, and they're just putting silly money on all these cars. I can't be that low. I want to be up here instead. No problem. We go in, we change this number. Maybe we make you a -0 and a +15. So now that exact same car is going to show up as 10 grand to 11.5. Matthew, you sound like you like the idea of that.
No, it's a spicy adjustment.
Spicy is, hey, here's the beautiful thing. And I get dealers asking me this all the time. Well, what's the norm? What's the standard? And my answer is, well, what's the normal ice cream, right? There is no normal. Every dealer gets to set this up for their dealership the way they want to do business. We're here to give you the tool. The tool is there to let you do business the way you want to do business. And that's why, like I said, we put all of this power and all of this control in your hands. And there's not another trade tool on the market that gives you this much detail and this much power and this much control.
Yeah, so we've hit pretty much all the questions there, and one little tidbit to throw in there. So Snap's fantastic at returning back that range. Like David mentioned, if you need the solution that goes down to the single price offer, that's the buying platform, and that's a conversation for another day.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, thank you for attending. We're going to start to wrap things up here. David, go back to the slide deck for me here. We're not totally done. We got a couple extra fun things to share.
Woohoo!
Throw it into present mode for me.
Love extra fun things. Let's get right up here to probably right here, the TradePending 100 method.
That's it.
And let me hit present mode also. Get that nice and big there for you.
All right, if you haven't seen it yet while it's loading, we did publish the TradePending 100. This is report number 1 that we're going to be putting out. And we're looking at the most in supply used vehicles in the market and how those values have changed. This initial TradePending 100 looked back to January of 2020 all the way up until June, and it shows you, yep, here's the most 100 in supply used vehicles and how they have either appreciated or depreciated over that time frame. And we break it down by vehicle and by vehicle class. It's absolutely fascinating data. Next slide.
I can do that. Next slide.
I hope you can.
Yes.
We also have put out the ultimate inventory sourcing checklist. It's 50 ideas on things you can do to help source more inventory. As far as we know, that's still a pretty good thing to be doing right now. So there's that. Next slide, I think, might be our Q&A slide. So we've handled that. And then the following slide here, this is where everyone tends to get really excited. If you made it this far, we will mail you one of our very own mascot, Wobbly Bird. That's Peep. It comes in that box and everything. It's pretty stylish. So go to that bit.ly link right there, submit your details, and we will mail one out to you. And with that, we're going to put a stamp on this and call this one done. You've got our contact information there. Thank you, everybody, for attending today.
Thank you all very much. Talk to you soon. Take care.